In this session, we are going to discuss about agenda setting theory. Let's get started. Agenda setting theory was developed by Max McCombs and Donald Shaw in a study of the 1968 American presidential elections. So in this theory is where mass media determine what you think and worry about. You is referential to you and me as the consumers, and what we think and worry about, such as TV news, social media news, and news coming in the newspapers or magazines. The influence of the media affects the presentation of the reports and issues made in the news that affects the public mind in turn. The news reports make it in a way that when a particular news report is given importance and attention than other news, the audience will automatically perceive it as the most important news and information given to them. The priority of which news comes first and then the next are set by media according to how people think and how much influence will it have among the audience. So more or less, this is how media determines what kind of content should be pushed into the public mind and why a certain kind of news gets priority and attention. And the moment you and me as consumers, we start locating that kind of a news in prime time and otherwise across in social media, in mainstream media, we tend to believe or we tend to perceive that this is the most important and the most crucial sort of information that we must consume. And our priorities in terms of news consumption kind of shifts. And many a times what happens is that leads to some sort of a propaganda based news content being pushed by the media agencies or by the media organizations. Agenda setting occurs through a cognitive process known as accessibility. Okay, so how much access you have to content um, to define what sort of an agenda has been set. And media provides information which is the most relevant food for thought, portrays the major issues of the society, and reflects and affects people's mind. So your accessibility to a certain content defines how you are drawn towards a certain agenda or so. There are the levels of agenda setting theory, and there are two levels. The first level is usually used by researchers to study media usage um, and its objectives or the influences that media creates on people and the most proximal thought that people will have on exposure to the information given by the media house. So this is largely, this works at the basis of how researchers look at what mass media uses and how it influences people and how people take to that information that is provided by the media house. Second level is where the media focuses on how people should think about the nature of issues. Okay, it's almost like entering into your mind and trying to tell you what sort of things you need to think about as far as particular issues are concerned. So thus sensationalization of news reports may happen to bring in the interest of the audience. So I mean, the most recent case of Sushant Singh Rajput's suicide and how it was projected and presented in the news media and how the focus was shifted from the COVID-19 pandemic issues across the world and what sort of news must be offered to the people regarding the pandemic was pushed aside and how Sushant's case became the most significant case along with Riya Chakraborty being harassed and other public celebrities being brought into the drug case. Now this is how the news reports and the news presentation can shift the attention of the audience. So more and more number of people would start thinking on those lines. And in the process, what happens is media attention and people's attention gets to issues which are possibly less important matter. And then it can implant thoughts in people's mind about presenting something else as serious issues. That's why media can turn certain issues into viral, and that's how media trials are run as well. Agenda setting theory is used in political ads, in campaigns, in business news, in public relations, etc. The main concept associated with the theory is gatekeeping. Okay, gatekeeping is in charge of and has control of the selection of content discussed in the media. It is assumed that the public cares mostly about the product of media gatekeeping. Editors are the main gatekeepers of media itself. The news media decides what events to broadcast and show through the media gates on the basis of newsworthiness. Okay, so what happens here in agenda setting theory, what the major concept that is offered is the theory of gatekeeping. Now, in gatekeeping, what happens is somebody opens and closes the gate. That's why we require gatekeepers to allow information. So this is used as an analogy to see how information can be gatekept. Okay, how do we regulate information that we must allow to people, and media decides that what kind of events or what kind of information must be broadcast or must be published, and what kind of information should be regulated on the basis of newsworthiness. And the newsworthiness is something that the media decides. In the process, what happens is media or the editors, those people who are at the helm of the affairs, or those people who try to create content, produce content, and offer content, try to regulate that sort of information. For example, news comes from various sources. Editors choose what should appear and what should not. That's why they are called gatekeepers. Okay, the whole idea of filtering information and filtering X news over Y, or prioritizing X news over Y, is something that allows the process of gatekeeping to continue. Gatekeepers are the most powerful authority who ensure the right material is disseminated to the mass. Now, the right is again, remember, from the perspective of the news media agencies or organizations, or those people who are at the uh, decision-making stage in those media organizations. We're primarily the editors. Because some issues are important to media but not to the masses. Also, there are much concern not to distort peace and public stability. So in the process, what happens is they try to regularize the content, or sorry, they try to regulate the content according to their understanding of what must concern public or what must not concern the public. So they try to implant those sort of thoughts inside your mind by telling you, okay, these are the news you must prioritize as a consumer. It's the gatekeeper who decides what information should move to group or individual and what information should not, like I just told you. Here, the gatekeepers are the decision makers by letting us what kind of content we must consume. They have their own influences like social, cultural, ethical, and political. Understand those people who are also producing content can carry some sort of ideological baggage along with them, which can have its own set of influences, and it can be a social influence, it can be a cultural influence, or an ethical or a political influence. So based on personal or social influences, they let the information to the group. They're deciding almost on the behalf of the group or the individuals why that kind of influences are necessary to proliferate a certain thought. So through this process, unwanted, sensible, controversial informations are removed by the gatekeeper, which helps to control the society or a group and letting them in the right path. So this is from a positive point of view. If this can happen, many times it can avoid a lot of confrontational or controversial situations. So media gatekeeping in one way, at one end, could be perceived as a positive influence or a positive action force. In news media, editor plays the vital role. Like I told you, that is the editor's prerogative to choose what sort of news must get priority over the other. So he or she has to decide what kind of news items will publish and what should not. Every day, the news channel receives various news items from all over the world. Okay, so don't think that the news that we consume in newspapers or magazines, or our prime time news television is the only news events that happen across the world. As we speak, there are events that are happening across the world, but it's actually at the end of the day, the news media houses prerogative, be it a publication house like a newspaper or a magazine, or it's a television channel. They have to decide on the basis of the newsworthiness of a particular event as to why X news should be prioritized or Y news. And that's how you get to see or consume select pieces of news filtered from across the world. The channel have its own ethics and policies. Through this, the editor decides the news items which has to be published or aired. Okay, people follow style guides. People follow ethical frameworks or policy frameworks that each independent media houses would have. On the basis of those guidelines, um, channels and publication houses decide what news items are to be published or aired. In some cases, few news items are rejected by the editor due to organization's policy on news items which are not suitable for publication, something that every news organization follows. Then priming. The responsibility of the media in proposing the value and standards through which objects gain a certain amount of attention can be judged. Okay, so we can look at that sort of standards and values what this particular media organization kind of promotes. The media content will provide a sufficient amount of time and space to certain issues, making it more vivid. So they make it very clear that they are trying to focus on particular kind of stories, and that kind of this gives us an understanding about how to go about the judgment process as far as a particular media organization's value system or ideological systems are concerned. In simple words, media gives the utmost importance to certain events such as it gives people the impression that that particular news is the most crucial one or the most important one. And this is something that happens on a daily basis. As media consumers or as students of mass media, it is our prerogative to understand and also make other people understand going further that the whole concept is mediatized, and it's the news organizations which can create that influence or impression that X news must run through the day. Why Republic chooses to take a right-wing stand and kind of attack liberal people or people who with liberal mindsets or people who are fighting for democratic rights of other people. So those sort of things, you know. The selected news report is carried on as a heading or cover regularly for months. For example, terms such as headlines, special news features, discussions, expert opinions are used. These are the terms that are used, especially by the news media and television news media, to constantly reiterate or constantly draw upon the impression regarding particular stories. So media prime news by repeating the news, giving it more importance. For example, nuclear deal. So if nuclear deal is the flavor of the month or that's the story of the month, they'll continuously try to build stories in and around the nuclear deal and try to project it as the breaking news or try to project it as news analysis or expert opinions by bringing in, panels, panel of experts, so on and so forth. So priming plays a very significant role in agenda setting theory. Then framing. Framing is a process of selective control. Okay, framing is a process. Let's look what selective control is and what does it offer as a process. It has two meanings: the way in which news content is typically shaped and conceptualized within the same frame of reference. Okay, what does it mean? The way in which news content is typically shaped. Okay, how does news content appear to all of us, and how is it contextualized within a particular frame of reference? The audience adopts the frames of reference to see the world in a similar way. Okay, so if you are a Republic consumer and a serious Republic consumer, not you're not watching Republic channel for fun, or your job is to primarily consume content in the most serious possible way from Republic, then after a certain point in time, you would buy into the ideology that is pushed by them, or you would like to believe the kind of stories that they are offering, um, and consider them those things as practical exercises of truth. So understand that this is how people tend to attach importance to a piece of news and perceive its context within which an issue is viewed or purviewed. So, and it can happen across. Somebody who wants to take a neutral stand is more likely to um, subscribe subscribe to ideas and organizations who behave neutrally as far as, or objectively as far as, news dissemination is concerned. People who want to take extreme stance, um, like a Republic does or like Arnab Goswami does, then in that case, or an Anjana Kashyap does, um, you can clearly see what is, in which context they are trying to play a particular issue. So framing deals with how people attach importance to certain news. For example, in the case of an attack, defeat, win and loss, the media frames the news in such a way that people perceive it from different angle. Okay, that this is our win, or this is our loss, or we got victory, or our attack constantly. So you are constantly authorizing the opposition and trying to project yourself, or your country or your organization as the better one. One example that I can come up with at this point in time would be looking at the Kargil war. In both the countries, the news reports that were framed were in such a way that they show their own country in positive light and the other in the negative. And something that happened in both India as well as Pakistan, that they tend to project the other country as the enemy country and take stand which would shape the public's mind, um, and it would force the public to almost believe that um, the other country has issues, or the other country is the one who is trying to play the terrorist role. So depending on which media people have access to, the perception will differ. So a Pakistani consumer's idea about the Kargil war is going to be extremely different than that of an Indian. So that's how framing is done, by contextualizing certain events and news. Okay, let's look at what are the factors that affect agenda setting. First one is, like I told you, gatekeepers, editors, managers, and other external influences. What are the other external influences? People who have invested into the media organizations, or people who work as a shadow, almost shadow networks or shadow organizations, and they invest into the media organizations in order to benefit from the kind of news content that is created and disseminated. Then non-media sources like government officials and influential personnel. Okay, those people who are um, part of the page 3 community, or people who are influencers on their own rights, and government officials, people who can push a certain agenda forward, and people who primarily have agendas. So need to understand what are their agendas and how agenda setting as a theory and as a practice can get affected in the media cycle, or the media circulation of news through these people. For example, if the media has close relationship with elite society, that class will probably affect the media's agenda and the public agenda in turn. That's why influencers play such a significant role while pushing a certain kind of issues, and they are brought in. Sometimes it is just a publicity exercise. Sometimes they are the face of particular issues and organizations, and they try to push the thing forward, because you tend to value those influencers and what they speak about or talk about, so they can push the agenda in a lot better way. Then criticisms of agenda setting theory. Okay, media users are not ideal. So how agenda setting theory might fail or might not work as the proposed ideal theory is, media users are not ideal. Okay, so it's extremely distinct. People may not pay attention to details. People might vary. So you cannot quantify and say that, okay, this is what it is in terms of the influence. Okay, then the effect is weakened for people who have made up their mind. You can try to push your agenda. For example, tomorrow if I'm consuming, Republic for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or I'm reading a newspaper which pushes right-wing stories, I know in no time what is the kind of agenda they are trying to push in. So I don't get affected by that. So the effect that it would have on me would be extremely weakened because I've already made up my mind and I know that this is the kind of bogus news that they try to push forward. So I can see logic there and might not affect me. There are people who can affect their mind, or whose mind could be affected if they strongly believe in the potential of the kind of news content that is pushed by Republic or G News, so on and so forth. And media cannot create problems; they can only alter the level of awareness, priorities, and importance. Okay, so it is at the end of the day the consumers or the readers or the viewers or the listeners who carry the potential to continue, sustain, aggravate, or dissipate a certain kind of problem that exists in society. What media can do is it can affect the matrix of awareness, it can affect the priorities and importance that the public or the consumer gives to certain kind of issues that float in the society or market in certain context of how news production and news cycle